for us, it's not necessarily that the differences among species are interesting. It's that much of what we understand about the dynamics of coral reef systems is based on this grouping corals based on what they look like. And by taking the time to do the genetics and identify what they are, we're seeing a lot of so-called cryptic diversity and cryptic patterns that we hadn't really appreciated before. And so this cryptic diversity is changing the way we study and understand how this group of corals work. So Moorea is an island next to the island of Tahiti in the country of French Polynesia. And there's been a long history of researchers working there, so there is a lot of history and a lot of prior data collected that provides really important context for what we see and study now. In February 2019, we were there doing research on cryptic species and coral resilience, and we started noticing that the corals started to look a bit pale than usual. And then by August, our very first dive was really stark to see the difference from what we saw in February. And what we saw was that a lot of the larger corals were dead. They were quite bleached.
When you think about the bleaching event versus what you see on TV, with these huge coral reefs, with all these colorful fish swimming around, all the colorful reef animals, including the coral themselves, to actually just see almost a flat, almost like a wasteland of just white, bone white coral. It was very interesting to see and wonder what it might have been like for the people who had been there 30 years ago. We made sure that whenever there's an opportunity to get out there on the boat, that we take it. After we got back from a day of diving, which could take anywhere from 4 to 6 hours, we'd go back to the lab so we can process the samples as soon as possible.
We all dove every day. We collected the samples, and then we processed the samples in the lab, getting them sequenced and then analyzing the results to look for the patterns in the data. And we were just kind of like a little shocked that it was a single species that was hardest hit and not just the largest colonies of the coral genus.
The good news is that not every species of coral bleached. The bad news is that the species that did bleach happened to be endemic to Moorea and the surrounding islands as far as we can tell.
Because it shows that there is resilience within the coral community. Not all species die. Ecosystem services continue to carry on, but as predicted, as temperatures increase, we will begin to see more species experience stress more heavily.
The other concerning feature is that with increased climate change, these differences among species won't matter much, because every coral will experience increased stress.